We live in the era of the unending grind. Our social media feeds are flooded with images of 4 o'clock a.m. workouts, neon-lit home offices, and the constant mantra of hustle harder. We are told that if we aren't working every waking second, we are falling behind. We are told that rest is for the weak, and that burnout is a badge of honor. But if you took a modern hustle culture guru and placed them in the court of the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, he wouldn't be impressed. He would be horrified. To the master of the Roman Empire, the modern obsession with constant frantic activity is not a sign of ambition. It is a sign of a fragmented mind. It's a sign of a man who has lost his dominion over himself. Today, we are dismantling the myth of the hustle. We are exploring why the most powerful man in history would have hated modern hustle culture, and what he would have done instead. This is the Dominion Thesis. Section 1. The fallacy of busy. The first thing Marcus Aurelius would identify is our confusion between activity and productivity. Modern hustle culture prizes being busy above all else. We fill our calendars with low-value tasks just to feel the dopamine hit of crossing them off. But Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Most of what we say and do is unnecessary. If you can eliminate it, you'll have more time and more tranquility." He believed in the essentialist mindset. He didn't care about how many hours you worked. He cared about the quality of your judgment and the necessity of your actions. Hustle culture is a scattergun approach, firing in every direction hoping to hit a target. Dominion is a sniper's approach, one shot, one kill, preceded by hours of stillness. If you are constantly hustling, you are too busy to think. And if you are too busy to think, you are a slave to the momentum of the crowd. Section 2. The tyranny of external validation. Hustle culture isn't just about working. It's about being seen working. It is performative. It relies on the likes, the views, and the external status of a fancy car or a luxury watch. Marcus Aurelius found this obsession with fame and reputation to be a form of mental illness. He compared the pursuit of fame to a child chasing a bird. It is a futile, exhausting race for something that provides no real nourishment. He wrote, "Everything that is beautiful in itself and terminates in itself. If your work requires a camera to be present for it to feel valuable, you are not building an empire, you are building a stage." The Stoic works in the dark. He works because the work is virtuous, not because the world is watching. When you stop hustling for the crowd, you reclaim the massive amount of energy you were wasting on branding your struggle. Section 3. The violation of nature. Stoicism is built on the idea of living according to nature. Nature has cycles. It has seasons of intense growth and seasons of deep dormancy. Hustle culture demands an eternal summer. It demands 365 days of peak performance. This is a biological lie. Aurelius observed the world around him, the trees, the animals, the stars, and saw that everything moves with a deliberate, rhythmic pace. He wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work,' as a human being." But he didn't mean, go to work until you collapse. He meant, perform your function with the same steady, unhurried focus as a bee making honey. A bee doesn't hustle, it functions. When you force yourself into a 24/7 grind, you are fighting your own biology. Burnout isn't a badge of honor. It is a signal that you have failed to manage your most precious asset, your own nature. Section 4. The loss of the inner citadel. The greatest danger of the modern hustle is that it leaves the inner citadel undefended. The inner citadel is that space within you that remains calm regardless of what is happening in the market or the news. To maintain the citadel, you need silence. You need reflection. You need mori, the awareness of your own mortality. Hustle culture uses noise to drown out the fear of death. It tells you that if you just make enough money, you can outrun your insecurities. Marcus Aurelius spent his mornings in deep, silent meditation before facing the chaos of Rome. He knew that if he didn't have dominion over his own mind, the empire would consume him. The modern hustler has no inner life. He has only a to-do list. When the crash comes, and it always comes, the man with no inner citadel is the first to crumble. Section 5. Shallow work versus deep dominion. Modern technology has turned us all into reactive workers. We respond to emails instantly. We check Slack notifications every 5 minutes. Hustle culture tells us this responsiveness is a virtue. Aurelius would see it as a lack of self-discipline. He believed in deep work, though he didn't call it that. He believed in the total immersion of the mind into a single, complex problem. If you are constantly switching tasks, you are operating at a shallow level. You are a general who is so busy polishing the boots of his soldiers that he forgets to look at the map of the battlefield. Dominion requires the ability to ignore the urgent in favor of the important. It requires you to ghost the world so you can focus on the mission. Section 6. The amor fati of effort. Hustle culture is obsessed with the outcome. Get the bag, Lambos and mansions. Because the focus is on the result, the hustler is constantly stressed because they cannot control the result. The Stoic focuses entirely on the process. This is the concept of amor fati, loving your fate. Whether the business succeeds or fails is, to a degree, outside your control. But the integrity of your effort and the logic of your strategy are entirely within your control. Aurelius didn't worry about whether history would remember him as a great emperor. He worried about whether he was being a just emperor in the present moment. When you detach from the hustle for the bag, ironically, you often get the bag faster. Why? Because your mind is no longer clouded by the anxiety of wanting. You are free to perform with 100% efficiency. Section 7. The routine of the sovereign. So, what is the alternative to the hustle? It is the sovereign routine. It is a day structured around intentionality rather than franticness. It begins with an audit of your desires. Aurelius would tell you to ask, is this necessary, before every single action. It includes scheduled time for the view from above, zooming out to see the insignificance of your daily stresses. It prioritizes sleep, movement, and philosophy as the maintenance of the machine. A sovereign does not rush. A sovereign decides. If a task takes a year, it takes a year. The goal is not speed. The goal is the rightness of the action. In the Dominion Thesis, we do not measure wealth by how many hours we worked, but by how many hours we owned. Section 8. Conclusion. The next time you see a grind set video or feel the pressure to work until your eyes bleed, remember the emperor. Remember the man who ruled the world and still found the time to sit in silence and tell himself to be a better human being. Hustle culture is a trap designed to turn you into a high-performing cog in someone else's machine. Stoicism is the key that unlocks the cage. Stop rushing. Stop performing for the crowd. Reclaim your time. Reclaim your focus. Build your empire with the steady, unshakable pace of a mountain. The world may hustle around you, but you remain the still point in the center of the storm. This is how you win the long game. This is the Dominion Thesis.